Hi, this is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today I'm taking a look at Avengers 156. This was 30 cents. Look at that, the Vision in the corner. That's the Vision for those of you who are only familiar with the character from the movies. That's what he looks like in the comics. I remember getting this. We went to a mall when I was a kid. And like a kid going shopping with the parents, I was bored out of my mind. And my mother was like, go to that toy store and stay there and I'll come and get you. So I went into a toy store. And in the back of the toy store, they had comics, believe it or not. And they were like in 3-packs. You got 3 comics in a bag. And this was the one that you could see, and I forget the other 2 comics. So my mom got me the comics because I was a good kid. I was always a well-behaved kid. And so she bought me this 3-pack of comics. It was only like $1 or something like that. And I read this over and over again. This is not that particular issue. This issue actually came from that collection that I was talking about in one of the earlier videos. So this is like in super good condition. I still have the original comic, but it's all beat up. So I figured I'd show the nicer version. So here we have a nice, wonderful Jack Kirby cover. And I'm going to stake my reputation and say this is inked by Joe Sinnott as well. But of course we have Iron Man, we have Dr. Doom. There's the Vision coming out through the wall. We all know his powers. He could change his density so he could pass through walls. This is the Yellow Jacket. Look at that. He's got a gun. The original Yellow Jacket carried like a Stinger pistol, and later on he incorporated it into his wings. This is the Scarlet Witch. And there's everybody's favorite Captain America. It's a battle to the death against the deadly weapons of Dr. Doom. I love this blast. Okay, really good condition. I'm going to guess 1976. Okay, so let's look at the indicia. 1977, I was close. The Avengers. Okay, first let's check out the Bionic Man, the $6 million man. The Bionic action begins here. I never had this escape room or whatever it's called, the inflatable dome, but I did have the Steve Austin figure. Look, he had like rubber arms, and you could roll up the skin and pull out these chips and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. My only problem with it was too big to interact with all the other toys that I had. I'm still lobbying for a universal action figure, standard scale. That's the word. So we got Jim Shooter writer. Okay, Sal Buscema and Pablo Marcos, artists and storytellers. Wow. Wow. Jerry Conway was the plotter. Joe Rosen was the letterer. D. Warfield, colors. I have no idea who that is. And Archie Goodwin is the editor. So this is before Jim Shooter. Maybe just before the Jim Shooter years. And look at this beautiful artwork. Okay, look at that. The Vision is just phasing through the wall. Man, this just looks. I guess Marvel did have a style, because this looks like George Perez, John Byrne artwork. Just gorgeous. Who is this again? Sal Buscema. I already talked about it. Sal Buscema was a workhorse from Marvel. He worked fast. He never complained. He did his job. He took every assignment, and he was one of the very first Marvel house artists to become wealthy. And he famously scolded John Romita Sr. for using erasers. He's like, we don't got time. Just keep moving, fix it. You'll use that line someplace. So I'm guessing it's the Pablo Marcos inks that just makes this, because I wouldn't even recognize this as Sal Buscema. I like Sal Buscema, but he's got a very distinct. So this is just wonderful. Look at this. And look at the Vision, and notice that the Vision's word balloons are square and yellow, indicate that he has like a robotic voice. I remember a few characters commented that his voice was sounded soulless. And here's Dr. Doom, because the slave collar is attached to you by Attuma. If this is all you have to tell me, then you're useless. No, Doom, I've been told the superficial facts. So here, Attuma, who is the barbarian. Atlantis exists in the South Atlantic Ocean, and Attuma is he's like Attila. Okay, so Attuma the Hun, Attila the Hun. Attuma is a head of these barbarian invaders that wander the ocean floor, and sometimes they just show up in Atlantis as a horde and just try to sack Atlantis. So that's what he is. So he's one of Namor's main villains. Avengers 154. So here he is talking about how he defeated all the Avengers. And this is Attuma is like as strong as Namor. He just grabbed Iron Man by the chest plate, and we all see the movie how he needs that to at this point. He still had the heart weakness, and Attuma just he defeated the Yellow Jacket and the Wasp, and then Doom flexes. Look at that. He just he was disco dancing. He was like, check out my roller skates. So here he is. He throws him on a slab. Don't kill them or anything, Dr. Doom. Don't kill him, Attuma. Put him on a slab right next to each other. Especially this guy who could phase through objects. And look, his chest device is intact again. So here is Vision is trying to reason with Dr. Doom. And I discovered it means to create an army of warriors like Tyrak. I think Tyrak is another one of Attuma's men. Perhaps you would hold out the longest, Doom, but eventually your Latveria would fall to such an army. My kingdom, the world under Attuma's heel, impossible yet. Come. So the Vision actually played Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom has a few weaknesses. First off, he's supremely arrogant. I don't know if you know or if you're familiar, but Dr. Doom was Reed Richards' college roommate, and Dr. Doom was brilliant. He was a gypsy, and he was just like won a scholarship to Empire State, the same university that Reed Richards went to, and they became roommates, and or not roommates because he was roommates with Ben Grimm, but they worked in the same science classes together. Lab partners, I guess is a better word. And they were rivals. Although Reed wasn't really a rival, Victor Von Doom, his real name, he couldn't take anybody being as smart as him. He was the smartest that there is. So he created this machine that was supposedly able to he could contact the afterlife, and most specifically hell, because he believed that his mother, who was a gypsy witch, was confined to hell, and she was, in fact, Mephisto stole her soul. She made some sort of deal with it. It was all like over 20 years of storytelling, and so Mephisto is another one of his enemies. He's trying to free his mother's soul from the grasp of Mephisto. You'll probably see Mephisto in the new Doctor Strange movie. But anyway, to make a short story even longer, he was trying to use this machine, and he fired it up. And Reed Richards was like, oh, that's a great idea. This is a cool idea, but yeah, you made a couple of errors over here. And Victor was like, give me that. No, I never make errors. And then he built the machine, turned it on, ba-boom, and it exploded. Now, what happened next is controversial. Dr. Doom is extremely arrogant. He was also extremely handsome. Everything about him, he was like the perfect human specimen. He got his face got all scarred up from this accident, and he wrapped himself up in bandages, left in humiliation because he couldn't face that Reed Richards was correct, and he went off just like what you do to the Himalayan mountains to Tibet. So he was just like running away, and he found a monastery, and there's monks there nursed him back to health, and they made him armor. And when he had a face mask, and they just forged a face mask, and Doom was impatient and grabbed the face mask and put it on and burnt his face even more. Now, here's the controversy. People are saying that the explosion messed up Doom's face, and what I like was when John Byrne did it, they showed his face for the first time, and it was just a scar. That's it, just a little like scar, kind of a cool looking scar actually. But Doom was so vain. He's like, my face is flawed, my face is ruined, and he wrapped it up. I'm a monster. And then he, in his arrogance, destroyed his face by putting on this iron mask. So that's his first weakness, his arrogance. His second weakness is he usurped Latvia. I don't know what the government was before him, like some sort of monarchy or something like that. And he installed himself as the dictator. So now he's the dictator of Latvia, this imaginary Balkan European country, one of those tiny countries, and he rules with an iron fist. It's kind of like North Korea. Nobody comes in, nobody comes out, but he's arrogant. He wants so as long as the people praise him, as long as the people work, like all their wants and needs are taken care of, but they don't have free speech. They can't criticize anybody. They just work. Everything's provided for. So it's kind of dreary, but at least you're gonna live. So he doesn't want anything bad to happen to Latvia. So if Attuma does succeed in his quest to raise an army to attack the surface world, like it or not, he's smart enough to realize that this will harm Latvia. So Vision played him. Doom was backing off. I gotta prepare for the invasion. Pardon me. So now he's thinking of Wanda. He's thinking of Wonder Man because they share the same brain, and he's an artificial construct created by Ultron. Yes, Ultron made Vision, and Yellow Jacket made Ultron, not Tony Stark. That's the movie. So they took Wonder Man's brain patterns and copied the thought processes and the wrinkles and the synapses and stuff like that, and gave it to the Vision, because it's still too complicated to make like a fully functional neural net. So they just copied one that was available, and his body was laying in a death-like state, transforming into energy. So the Ultron copied it. So Vision and Wonder Man kind of have like similar mental thought processes. There you go. But except he's human, and he's Simon Williams. He's the strongest human on Earth, except for like Hulk. His power is super strength, so he's probably physically stronger than Thor. He's invulnerable, whereas Thor could outclass him in other abilities. Here's the Wizard. He's not as fast as Quicksilver, but he's super fast, and his name is the Wizard, and he wears yellow, which always makes me giggle. And there's Namor, the Submariner, just looking cool. So they're all hanging out talking. And keep in mind that Wizard and Submariner know each other from World War II. He's old. You can't really tell by the way it's drawn. So now they're talking. This is last issue Attuma fought. You could see some wreckage. And they're just hanging out. Here comes an Atlantean ship. Keep in mind this whole hidden city with super technology is just a Jack Kirby trope that he uses over and over and over again. So it's not just Wakanda. Atlantis has advanced technology. The Inhumans have advanced technology. Kunlun has advanced technology. It's the Eternals have advanced tech. Any hidden city has advanced technology, and there's like 20 of them in Marvel Comics. So the Atlanteans, they go into this Atlantean ship, they submerge, and there's the Beast. This is like my favorite time for the Beast. This is when Beast and Wonder Man both joined the Avengers, and it wasn't like, oh, woe is me, or super 9,000 syllable words being a magic scientist. This Wonder Man and Beast hung out, and they were like chick magnets, just going out and going on dates and just having fun. It was a cool little period. So he snuck aboard Attuma ship. That's Attuma, and I guess that's Tyrak, his right hand man, and his just wonderfully bad costumes. The Wizard, Wonder Man. Wonder Man always had a series of bad costumes, and then he just wears like underwear. And now we'll take a Slim Jim break. Join the Dinky Starfleet. Free advice to help you get ahead. Stop being a jerk. No, wouldn't that be funny though? So, if they live long enough, if they have long been Attuma's captives, there may be little left of them to rescue. Okay, so they take it off. So here is this is Hydrobase. Hydrobase is a floating island. I forget, it debuted in an issue of Submariner, and I forget what happened, but all the scientists here are obsessed with, like, they're ocean biologists, marine biologists, and they all perfected the serum, and they became like amphibious, so that they could dive in the water and study the ocean. It's kind of a cool concept of like these fanatical scientists who are just obsessed with the ocean. They built this floating, movable island. It's more than just a ship, and then they're all amphibious. So that they, that is a cool idea, and they kind of forgot about it. Okay, so here, Dr. Doom is having their slave collars removed, because now he's going to team up with the Avengers to fight Attuma. Darling, I was so worried about you. You took off. I didn't mean to. I presume that I deserted in fear. It seemed obvious that we all needed an ally. I acquired one. He's being a jerk. Why is he being a jerk? Because he's jealous of Wonder Man at this point, because she can't help but have like affection or friendship or attraction. I don't know at this point, because the Vision and Wonder Man are so similar because they share the same mental neural net magic science stuff. And he was supposed to be emotionless, but now he's showing jealousy. I didn't mean, perhaps you have forgotten that I'm a perfectly logical synthezoid. That's what he called himself. I didn't mean, Jan, why is he suddenly so cold? We've all been under a lot of strain lately. I thought the Vision sorted out his identity problems long ago, before he and the Scarlet Witch were married. So, there you go. And that's coming from him, who's they retroactively made Hank Pym. Hank Pym like bipolar, because over the years they've really showed his personality to be different. Different writers wrote him differently. Let's be honest, because the first 5 or 6 years of Hank Pym's, the first 5 years after he was created, they didn't really do much with him anyway. So, and then somebody else came and they had a different idea for him, and then they tied together the vastly different swings in his personality to bipolar disorder, which is kind of neat. So here's two guys in super armor. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Because Mephisto has his mother's soul trapped, he also became a sorcerer. So Dr. Doom is like, I'm going to call him the second greatest scientist on Earth, and he's the second greatest sorcerer on Earth. The first scientist being Mr. Fantastic, the first sorcerer being Doctor Strange. So that drives him crazy, that he's the second best at two disciplines rather than the master of one. And they also like to remind him he never got his doctorate, so he's not really a doctor. He never finished school. So here they are tracking Attuma, like Dr. Doom. I don't know, Dr. Doom is the hokiest villain in all of Marvel, and I love him so much. I'm so nervous about this upcoming Fantastic Four movie by Marvel Studios. Please, I beg you, don't ruin it. So here they are, they're going to Atlantis. Meet the Marvel Mites. Thank God I don't know anybody who ever had these. We've seen these ads a million times. So here's the Beast lurking about Attuma's ship when he's spotted. I caught a spy. No, you have may see the spy, but you have yet to catch him. Beast is really strong. He's a beast. Enough prattling ape. And then they hit him with these sticks, like also emit like electricity and stun. So there's Attuma. He lives. We'll give him a slow death. Give us some sport, because killing him right there, we can't do that. So they go in, they dock. Here's the Namor ship flying out. Subby, what are you doing? What I must. I will wait no longer. He's another one. John Byrne gave him like a bipolar disorder too, and I just thought it made so much sense, because when he debuted in the 40s, and in his first couple of issues he was fighting humanity. Then World War II happened, and he joined Captain America and the Human Torch and fought the Nazis, because they were the bigger evil. But he still, that didn't mean he liked humans. Then he kind of warmed up to humans, during the war, and after the war, he kind of disappeared. Comics went through that period of the 10-cent plague scare year with the seduction of the innocent and the government hearings. So comic books kind of disappeared. Superhero comics ran its course, and we didn't hear from Submariner till the Fantastic Four. I think it was like 1964. So he was gone for a good 15 years or so. And the first time he debuted in a Marvel comic, he had no memory. He was just like this wandering homeless guy. Torch drops him in the ocean, and he gets his memory back, and the first thing he does is resume his attack on humanity. And then later on he joins the Avengers, then he becomes a bad guy again. Then he joins the X-Men and he becomes a bad guy again. Half the time he's attacking the Earth, half the time he's defending the Earth. So John Byrne kind of said that since his mother was an Atlantean and his father was a white man named Mackenzie, he's a hybrid. He's of the air and of the sea. And if he spends too much time in the ocean, he goes a little berserkowitz. And that's when he becomes a villain. And so then he has to come above the sea, and after a while it regulates him. But then if he spends too much time out of the ocean, he goes berserkowitz, and he has to go beneath the sea. So he needs a balance. He needs to spend time above the water and time below the water. If he spends too much time either or, he goes berserkowitz. So here's Simon Williams putting on that's Wonder Man putting on a breathing apparatus and diving into the water. I talked about him in Avengers 165 that he was like scared. I'm not even sure what I'm doing here or even how I'm alive. I don't know how anybody's going to rescue me if I'm in trouble. He's like the most powerful human on the planet. He doesn't even need to breathe because his body was transformed into energy, but he was dead for like 10 years, but not really dead because it's a comic book. So Baron Zemo and the Enchantress tricked Simon Williams, and they transformed his body into this energy. And then when he fought the Avengers, he was killed by the effort. But it didn't really kill him. What it did is it shut down his body as his body transformed into energy, living, energy that looks like a human. And it took 10 years for this, transformation to take place. And then he kind of revived. He was like a zombie for a couple of issues. He got his mind back. But he kind of remembers it. He felt time pass. So he thought he was dead. For all intents and purposes, he was dead, and he's terrified of returning to that state. So even though he can't be killed, this story's set in the future, and he's like one of the only people left alive after like a nuclear alien invasion. He can't be killed. He doesn't need to eat. He doesn't need to breathe. He doesn't even need to sleep. But he does all these things because he doesn't know it yet, and he's scared. He's hesitating, And this is, like I said, 1977. Now in 2021, the character of Simon Williams has a better grasp of everything that he's capable of, and he's a more confident, supremely powerful superhero. But at this time, it's kind of neat watching this god walking around, not realizing his own potential. So here's Submariner, all impatient, going in after and go fighting Attuma by himself, and they're just bashing it. And here's Simon Williams like, can I help? If Namor can't fight him, what good am I? Meanwhile, he could just go in there and destroy everybody. So his hesitation cost Attuma. So that's Attuma, and that's Tyrak. And they're just gloating over the defeat of no, yeah, I was saying that this was Attuma. This is Tyrak. And Attuma's like, look at this cannon. You ever see a cannon like this? I'm gonna, shoot things with my cannon. And he's like, oh, I better do something. And the Wizard's like, I'm scared, Wiz. Not for me, but I'm afraid I'm gonna blow it. I don't know what to do. The Wonder Man, hold it. There's something on the radar. A ship approaching at impossible speed. It's here already. I see it, but and who's in it? Dr. Doom and the Avengers. And then they not now, Wiz. We got some avenging to do, and they just submerge and just start blasting the hell. They're coming down and charged. They open up the airlock, and here they come. Broken Arm, Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, the Vision, that Yellow Jacket, and the Wasp, and Captain America. They're just jumping down, and he's like, kill them. Iron Man, I just love that. Iron Man just using his repulsor rays. And Crazy was like a Mad magazine that Marvel Comics put out. So they were always like kind of goofing on DC and making spoofs of the Hulk and stuff like that. Now I think Crazy is just like an online web thing. What if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? This is the first issue of What If. So this was pretty cool. And I think there's a cartoon series that's going to be out on Marvel. Bill Henderson, Larry Wright, has Eric Smith. I always check the names. I always want to see if Bernadette. Every comic so far had a letter by a woman. I'm sure they sifted through. In fact, and I'm not saying that there was equal amounts, but there was always women reading comics. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Women were always welcome into comic book stores. And it was funny because whenever a girl came into comic store I was working out, everybody got quiet. There's a girl in the store. All right, so here's Captain America throwing his mighty shield. I like that. The Vision, he just he calls it unsolid. He becomes unsolid, and the blast just passed through him and hit each other. Atlantean with the mustache, or is that just darkness? I don't know. And here she is That's enough to put these guards to fight. What is she doing? Looks like she's not hitting. I don't know what they showed her power to be in the movies. They kind of never really described it, but she controls probabilities. And when she zaps things, the improbable happens. Not the impossible, but the improbable. So she caused this, and, looks like something malfunctioned and exploded, debris hits them. So she doesn't hit people with laser blasts and zap blasts and power blasts. She causes the improbable to happen. The problem is, that's a cool power. That's a really, really cool power. The problem is, all the writers didn't understand it, and they always changed it. Some writers just gave her power blasts. Some writers gave her like spellcast. She's a mutant. She couldn't cast spells. She practiced for a little while with Agatha Harkins, and she never really became a spellcaster. Maybe she is now in Modern Marvel. I don't know. But at this point, she's a mutant, and she causes the improbable things to happen. So like a hose will leak and spill, and then you'll slip on it and stuff like that. Or the floor will also spring a crack, and then you step on it and you fall through and break your ankle and stuff like that. But she doesn't shoot laser beams. Whereas he's shooting his stingers, and she has organic stingers built into him, and we all know about Captain America. So look out, Tyrak, but bigger, much bigger, and stronger, puny one. Look at that. It looks like Disco Atlantean. And boom, stronger than all of you. One punch. Iron Man, Vision, and Captain America taken out. Keep in mind, Vision is one of the most powerful Avengers of all time. And in here, Simon's over here, wiping poop out of his butt because he's scaredy pants. And then he jumps up. Wham! Or maybe I was hoping they would. Lucky I followed them. I thought they might need my help. Or maybe I was hoping they would. Wonder Man. Can't let Tyrak recover. Mustn't waste the break. Avengers attack. So, again, half a hex is better than one. So she does something. I guess this falls or breaks or whatever. Explodes. Who knows? They did not really explain. But one thing I do know is it clonged. Okay, so he's getting clonged right now. Getting clonged by the Scarlet Witch. And then arged as they're flying around zapping him. And then he gets whapped by Captain America. Whaps him. I can't see. Right in the eyes. I don't care how big you are. So it looks like he's getting bigger and bigger. I forget the details, but look at this. You can see the motion. So this guy's he's wavering. Look at that. And then look at this hand is back, and look at that hand is back. So we all know what's happening. Next page, right? I don't even have to turn the page. We all know what's happening. But Vision, he can control his density, so he could become unsolid, where his density is so nothing that he could pass through walls. He could also pull in mass and become so dense that he weighs like 100 tons or so. And he becomes super invulnerable and super strong the more dense he gets. He could also fire heat vision from the jewel in his forehead. So that's his main two powers. And look at these guys. Let's turn to page. Oh, the suspense is killing me. Oh, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think? Life-size monsters. He's going to get kablammed. We all knew that. But look, so this is just the haymaker, right? You're getting punched by this guy. He could over 100 tons. He probably weighs 100 tons. So at this particular moment, he's probably stronger than Wonder Man. He could always fly, though. So he uses his ability to fly, so he's not destroying the floors when he walks. And then we did it. He's down. Nice work. Now let's find Attuma. So he's being a jealous dickhead. There's no other way to explain it. Because, in his mind, he's the rival for Wanda's affection. And plus he does feel guilty that he has his mind. So his Attuma getting up, there's Namor and the Beast hanging out, and he's just being violent and aggressive, and he's like, give me back my cape. And he takes his cape back. Enough. Look at that. It's a great panel. Look how powerful the Vision were. My cape, you shall not wear it another second. Now crawl away from me, worm, before I... And he's just being cold and ruthless. And why is he so angry? And it's more than just Attuma. It is not the Attuma. I had to do that. I had to. Okay, I'll help the Beast. I don't think Doom took that gadget to do the world any good. So here they are realizing that there's probably more to Doom's allyship than just being a good guy. And here he is. he's up on the ship. So he must have turned down his density, otherwise the ship would have rocked back and forth. And for all everybody knew at this point in history, this is Bob Frank, the Wizard. Everybody thought of him as the Scarlet Witch's stepfather. So this is the Vision is his stepson right now. And you made it. I was worried. Doom surfaced minutes ago and hightailed it. I thought, we must not waste a moment, Wizard. We must pursue Doom at once. Good thing I got a radar lock on him. And here's Attuma hitting buttons. And painful grab. What? Who could it be? Well, we all know who it is. It's the Submariner. Namor. Namor Mackenzie, the Submariner. Okay, the Avengers showed you mercy, and you would repay them with death. Namor. Wham. And that's how it, wham. That's how and the avenging sun shall spare you not. And here's Doom taking this silly looking, Acme looking cannon. And this is Namorita. This is Doom's cousin. Doom's cousin. This is Namor's cousin. Her parents are earth dwellers and ocean dwellers. So apparently this is a genetic trait. So there's Namora and Namorita and Namor. And I forget her name. But she's a water breather from another planet. Oh, why can't I remember her name? I forgot about her. Most likely a dead. I shall spare you this time. For, the question Doom. Now his arrogance is back up. You don't talk to him. They are dead, wench. A fate your insolence has earned you. I shall spare you this time. So when he's angry, he reacts first. And it's funny, well, not funny, but it's a consistent trait, is he'll react and then regret his actions and then try to so he'll murder somebody in cold blood and then pay off the family and say I'm sorry. You can't fight with fruit pies. How many times do we need to go over this? That's a pretty freaky looking villain. But come on, Hulk. Well, he's stupid, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And now they're making fun of him. The Beast is like, oh, you're going to rule the world, Doomsy? Hey, Doomsy. Was that you I saw on the Late Show last night? What? Shut up and hit him, Beast. So the Beast goes up to hit him and he gets walked. Vain fool, overconfident in your own speed, you underestimated mine. Wanda, down. Blast it. We lost advantage of surprise. We may be in for the fight of our lives. I defeated you the last time you dared attack me. This time shall be no different. Safe beyond my force field, I pick you off one by one. Repulsors can't even dent that field. We got to think of something quick. So here, the Vision goes through the wall. I got to say, Vision is the MVP of this comic. He's really, he got Doom to ally with them. Which means that he removed the slave collars and the Avengers could fight. He took out Tyrak, with an assist from Wonder Man. So he sticks his hand. That's another one of his powers, is he phases his hand into solid matter, and then he makes it dense, and then that just explodes the crap out of everything. And when he does it to living tissue, it just hurts so much that people pass out. It disrupts them. So he's putting his hand in here, and blam! Just explodes the crap out of the gun. The machine destroyed. That will, of course, your human existence, android. Doom will live to see you uncreated. All of you shall know Doom's vengeance, but I shall choose the time and the place. He'll getting away. Doom's no fool. Without the machine, there's no reason to continue the fight. Yes, and I'm afraid it's far from over. So everybody's like, oh, you okay? You okay? And then Vision is just being a jerk, just standing there with his back to his wife. Vision, please talk to me. Please tell me what's wrong. I wish to be alone. I can't get through to him. I only seem to make it worse. Beautiful lady like you. Hey, where'd Captain America go? So he can't help but flirt because he has the same mental thought patterns as Vision. So he can't help but be attracted to her. Right here, Wonder Man. Just stepped out for a minute. I thought I saw something to investigate. To find out what's that mysterious was, check out Supervillain Team Up 11. Something wrong? For a moment, 9 of the most mighty beings stand silent, pondering matters beyond their strength. So everybody's wondering what the hell's going on with the Vision, the Ghost of Stone. And I like that this has a little spin-off into Marvel Supervillain Team Up, which was such a good comic. And here are these stupid guns. The president needs their help puts them in this gigantic gun, and they get shot. This was a toy. It was like a rifle. You put in these cartridges, and the cartridges fired these little guns with little cars with wheels. So you had these guns, bullets that looked like cars that were fired from this. You laid down on the ground right into the dirt and got filthy. A lot of fun. What's the next? Oh, model Jaguars. And then look at this. Ride on to adventure with Evil King. I was looking for this advertisement for a long time. I probably bought this toy like 3 times because it would just get destroyed. But it was Evil Knievel. For those of you who don't know, Evil Knievel was a big deal in the mid to late 70s. He was a stuntman, a biker guy who did stunt biking. And he jumped like the Snake Canyon. He broke every bone in his body. That was like one of his things. I broke every bone in my body. And he would do all these jumps. He would jump school buses. And he influenced Happy Days to get Fonzie to jump the sharks. It's all because of Evil Knievel. See, this guy, he was very influential in American pop culture. And this was a plastic toy. And you see this, he was like this rubberized thing with like a wire through the rubber so you could pose him. And you snapped his hand onto the bike, and you snapped his feet into the like the kickstands or whatever, or the foot, whatever, I forget what you call them, not kickstands, but footholds. And then you winded it up, and there was like a spring inside, and you wound it up, and then when you released it, all the tension went the other way, and this bike just, and some of them, the original one just had a bike, but then the later had like sparks, like a piece of flint with a piece of metal that every time it hit, it made sparks, and it made a noise, and it would just, and then you go over ramps, and since it didn't have any joints or anything that could break, it took a lot of damage. And then he had the funny car, he had like a rocket, and then there was a van, and then you could get Robbie Knievel, his son. It was pretty cool, man. We would have like, all of us would have like, all my friends, we'd be on the ground racing, set up ramps and see whose toy could go the farthest. Stuff was pretty cool toy. But anyway, this was Avengers 156, 30 cents. This it's just such a good comic. I wonder why Jack Kirby did the cover, but not the interiors. But sometimes there's mysteries in life. Okay, so there you go. That was a lot of fun. I love the hell out of this comic. I love the hell out of this whole Avengers run. From Avengers 150 to about Avengers 120, 125. You can't go wrong. So, I mean, even before that, but I officially started collecting Avengers with Avengers 150. And there you go. Such a good time to be a comic book collector. So much fun. Thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it. Hope you like this. Please keep up with some comments. It's a lot of fun. I'd like to interact with more of you guys. All right. Bye-bye.